Hey everyone, how's it going? This is the Bald Metal Nerd coming at you with another one, and this one actually is sort of directed at Mr. Finglish over at Bad English Rex, but it's really for everybody who collects, right? Accumulates stuff, and it doesn't even have to be collectible items; it can just be junk, essentially, right? Basically, selling, what I would call general stuff versus like collectibles is going to be different. First of all, I'm going to talk about collectibles selling, and then I'm going to talk about general stuff, right? Selling collectibles like this, right? Um, I would not recommend selling, or obviously music, since that's what I talk about a lot on this channel. I wouldn't recommend selling that stuff, in garage sales, unless you basically know it's worthless, right? If you have collectibles that are of any sort of real value, you'd be far better off trying to sell that stuff, either online directly or maybe, renting a space at a flea market or car boots, whatever the equivalent of that is in your part of the world. If you have something that's collectible, you're much better off trying to be, how can I put this, selective about who you put your product in front of. And yeah, if you go to like a flea market or car boot sale or whatever, a lot of times it attracts the type of people who tend to collect different types of things like collectibles. So odds are, if you go to something like that, you would be able to sell a lot of your collectible items and get a somewhat decent price for them. Yeah, you'd have to bargain it a bit more than what you would going on one-on-one, but I'm going to talk about pricing and all that here in a bit. So a good example, though, of that type of sale that I went to, I actually went this past weekend, October 1st, to the Great Ohio Toy Show. And basically what that is, it was 7 absolutely gigantic buildings full of vendors, basically about 800 different people trying to sell toys slash collectibles, right? So it obviously is going to attract people who collect that sort of thing. So if you can find a specialized event like that, that's probably going to be the absolute best place to sell. But, like I said, regular flea markets or whatever, in your part of, wherever you are, that would work decently well too. So anyway, and of course there's the direct online selling of that, where you like, hey, I have this collectible item and I want this much for it. Obviously, that's probably how you're going to extract the most value out of it. Of course, there's also selling to shops, which they might give you about half of whatever that secondary market's value is. So anyway, they all kind of have their pros and cons. Obviously, if you're selling direct or whatever, it is more hassle, right? Typically to sell direct because, you're dealing with a lot of different buyers. Maybe they try to negotiate too much and it's a pain in the butt. Maybe they don't. You got to ship out all the stuff individually, yada, yada. It's a lot of overhead work for you to do, but you're going to get the most amount of money back for it, right? Clearly, that's why you would do it. Versus selling to like a shop or whatever. Yeah, you're going to get less money for it, but the convenience is going to bring you is going to be huge. It might be worth half the cost of whatever you would get just to not to have to deal with the hassle of selling everything individually. And I might be getting to a point where I'm going to consider selling some of my stuff off to a shop like that, but I haven't made that decision yet. I haven't made that leap, but we'll get there. So the other thing I want to talk about really is just selling like general stuff, like what I've been doing in my basement, clearing it out, yada, yada, yada. In a week or two, I'm going to have a garage sale. I'm not sure exactly when it's going to be, but it's going to be real soon. Just because I have a really large amount of stuff to sell, and most of it is not super valuable. I would say if you're selling for anything less than $100, typically it's almost always easier and way more worth it to try to sell that stuff off. If you can, if you have enough of it, you have to have a fairly large quantity of stuff, right, to hold a garage sale. You don't want to hold a garage sale and have 2 items or something ridiculous like that. But if you have like kind of a large quantity of random items, the best way, in my opinion, to sell that stuff is via that's not highly valuable. The best way to sell that is via a garage sale, right? Because you're going to get a lot of people coming in. You never know who's going to show up, what their interest might be, but if you have something that they might want and you're selling it for a really good price, like a couple of bucks or whatever, just to get it out of your house, it's probably worth it because let's face it, a lot of the reason a lot of us sell this stuff is just to get it out of your house. It's not even necessarily the monetary gains. And I'm going to talk about an example that I actually I'm still, well, now I'm dealing with selling general items, right? And this is something that's actually going on right now. I had 2 pieces of furniture that I'm kind of trying to get rid of. I did manage to sell one. The other one, haven't gotten any bids on it yet. And the piece that I did manage to sell, it's a dresser. I originally listed it for only $50. Not that much money. $50, whatever. For a dresser, not that much. I basically, as soon as I posted it, here's the thing about selling online like that. I got, like, because I put it up on Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, and Nextdoor. What happened to me? I started getting bombarded by scammers, right? Oh, I want to send you this code via Google Voice. That was basically the scam they were trying to get me in, trying to get me to fall for. And essentially, for the first couple of days, that's all I got were scammers. I didn't get any legitimate interest in it. And then, of course, basically I just lowered the price a couple of times, and I ultimately ended up selling the item for $30, right? Whatever. I mean, at least it's out of my house, and I have $30 I didn't have before. So, yes, I did get some value for that. I didn't extract the maximum amount I possibly could have gotten, but you know what? I don't care. So, selling stuff individually like that online is kind of a pain in the butt just because of the amount of crap you have to go through to sell it. And of course, you get lots and lots of people that ask, "Oh, do you have this? Do you have this?" And then they just never respond. You get lots of that. You get people who say they're going to show up and get it, and they never do. It's just honestly a big hassle to sell stuff like that. But again, it can be worth it if you're just looking to get rid of the stuff and you're not caring about scoring big bucks for it. It's a way to do it. But and of course, if you have a garage sale, just people show up and basically, hopefully, they take most of your stuff away, right? And you get some money for it. You basically get what you can get, more or less. It's very similar. I mean, this is the case even when like someone dies, right? And you have what's called an estate sale, which is a house that's basically full of stuff, right? Because the person passed on. They're not trying to sell the stuff. The furniture they might try to sell for some money, but like most of like the individual items in the house and all that, most of it's going pretty cheap, right? Most of it is not high dollar, and it's more or less kind of like a big garage sale just through an entire house. So basically, those are some of the pros and cons of selling different ways, and what I prefer. I mean, I kind of prefer a mix. It really just depends on what the item is. If I can't sell it easily, I probably will trend more towards convenience than maximum value, simply because my, quote, spare time is quite valuable to me, and I don't want to waste tons and tons and tons of it trying to get the maximum dollar for something. The only way I'm going to do that, again, is if the item has real value, as in $100 or more. Then I think it might be worth it to me to try to extract the maximum value out of it. Other than that, if I got a lot of stuff to sell at once, I'm going to have a garage sale. But if it's just like an item here, an item there, whatever, and it's not that valuable, it's getting donated. So anyway, that is pretty much it. I hope you guys got something out of this. Mr. Finglish, I hope you enjoyed this. It gives you a little bit of insight into kind of what goes on here and why, because I know you said over there in Finland, garage sales or / yard sales are not common. So I just kind of wanted to talk a little bit about why we do it so commonly here in the States. So anyway, I hope you guys like this. As always, live long, prosper, keep on rocking, and I will see everyone real soon.